So technical issues. Okay, so we're back. Quickly running through what I'm going to be talking about today. Going to be looking at, let's jump in and let's have a look. We're going to be looking at what was happening when we were sleeping. We're going to be looking at the 30 English phrases. We're going to be looking at English phrases. We can go over them again. I probably won't, but I might have a look. This is the human resources phrases. They can come in handy, so I might look at them if we have time. I also wanted to look at this NATO alphabet, so I'm going to get rid of that one. And this is the NATO alphabet, which can come in useful when we are on the telephone or something like this. So first and foremost, we're going to go through what was happening in the newspapers while we were sleeping. I'm just going to make sure I'm on the right screen. I'm on the live screen. Good. Okay. Anyway, first things first. How are you doing this morning? Are you on holidays? Are you working? I suppose you're working if you're watching on LinkedIn. I've got my coffee. Do you guys have your coffee? Hey everyone, it's James. So let me turn this off. My phone's going. This is unprofessional. Come on. Okay, so let's jump in. Let's see what's happening in the newspapers. We're going to give it a very quick look, and then later we'll go into more detail for those of you who have time. So while we were sleeping, in Mali, Sierra Leone, news of the night, like John Bolton. Okay, 42 soldiers killed in jihadist attack in Mali. The country's transitional authorities announced a 3-day national mourning on Wednesday, after confirming the death of soldiers on Sunday in the northeast of the country. So it's a jihadist attack in Mali. Let's jump in and find out exactly where Mali is. I think we all know the names of these places, but when it comes down to it, would you be able to recognize it on a map? So let's zoom out. We're down here and we're looking. Okay, so this is yeah, it's very big. Mali is a very big country. And here's the capital, Bamako. 42 people killed. Where were they killed? Let's have a look. In Tessit in the northeast. Let's put it in. Tessit. This is why I'm going to be looking at the NATO alphabet with you guys. Because when you're doing business, depending on where you're from, it can get a bit difficult because of an E in your country might be something different to what it is in English. I will explain this a bit more. So spelling this here, Tessit. Okay, let's have a look. Northeast of Mali. Okay, over here. I didn't realize such a big country. And Niger, yeah, all these countries are so big in relation to our own countries. Well, especially, up in the UK and Ireland. And we know very little. Okay, so what happened there? 37 terrorists, probably associated with the Islamic State in the Greater Sahara, have been killed after the attack. The army's recording of clandestine aircraft overflight operators indicates that the terrorists benefited from major support, including outside expertise. Interesting. This is the heaviest official toll for the Malian army since the series of attacks at the end of 2019. Okay. The newspaper is calling for greater cooperation between states around the area because it's still weak. Okay, so that's 43 soldiers killed in a jihadist attack in Mali, supported by expertise from outside. Okay. Washington revealed an Iranian plot to assassinate John Bolton. Yeah, I was reading this earlier. The U.S. Department of Justice said on Wednesday that Revolutionary Guards member Shahram Poursafi was charged in absentia, absent, with offering $300,000 to individuals in the United States to kill the former national security advisor of Donald Trump. This plot was apparently aimed at avenging the death of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani killed in January 2020 by an American strike, according to the Wall Street Journal. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was also told he had been a target of an assassination plot. It's not really surprising if you are a member of the government that somebody is going to try and assassinate you afterwards. It doesn't surprise me. I suppose these guys have private bodyguards, or maybe they have bodyguards which are paid for by the state. But this is a case of an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, where you kill one of ours, we kill one of yours. So $300,000 was offered to individuals. Sierra Leone next. Protests against the high cost of living in Sierra Leone. 2 police officers have been killed. Rallies and protests turned into a riot in Freetown. Let's go and find out where Freetown is. And I'm going to spell this as I do it. Freetown, Freetown, Sierra Leone. Okay, zoom out. Where are we in Africa? We are on the west coast, the northwest, northwest coast of Sierra Leone, neighbored to the south by Liberia, to the east and north by Guinea. Much bigger than I thought. And it's on the Atlantic coast, Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is generally not in the news for the best of reasons. I think they had a civil war there in the 90s or early noughties. Awful tragedy. Rallies turned into a riot in Freetown on Wednesday. 2 members of the security force were beaten to death by a crowd calling for the departure of President Julius Maada Bio. A curfew is when you have to go to your house at a certain time. You need to stay indoors. A curfew. A curfew was announced by the Vice President Mohamed Julde Jola. I promise. No, I don't promise, because it's not going to happen. I hope to get better at pronouncing these names. Let's try it again. Mohamed Julde Jallo. How would you pronounce it? I'm doing my best. The process started this morning but had been in preparation for the past week, a witness told CNN. People are protesting against inflation, hyperinflation, and the cost of living. The police are too aggressive when they act, and it's gotten to the point where people have their backs against the wall. It's when you're in a desperate situation, and you can turn this into a business kind of situation as well, where if you don't act, you are going to go bankrupt, you're going to lose your business. When you're under real pressure, you have your back against the wall. So people, because of the cost of living, in a general sense, have their backs against the wall. The war in Ukraine has made the daily life of the inhabitants more difficult. Sharp rises in the prices of commodities, such as essentials like rice, cooking oil, or fuel, are hard to get when you're living on $1.90 a day, as 43% of Sierra Leoneans do, according to the World Bank. So these guys are in a desperate situation, and they have their backs against the wall. So let's, like so many people during this, the war in Ukraine, it's causing a lot of inflation around the place, higher fuel prices. Right, that is what was going on while we were in bed. Let us go back to our main page. And what I want to do, one of the things that I want to do today, which is I'm going to focus on today, I'm going to jump into it now, in fact, is going on to this human resources. Okay, so I've probably had this window open by accident, but this is what we're going to be looking at, is human resources. I want to look at the first 5 of these human resources, and let's jump into number 1. I'm going to activate my camera here so you can see me on the screen. Right, so what we're doing is we're going to look at the first 5, and these are the first 5 of the top 20 questions that are faced by people in interviews. So let's go. Question number 1 in the top 20 most common interview questions. Okay, you've probably seen this on the screen for a while. Question number 1 in the top 20 most common interview questions is, tell me about yourself. Asking this is a way to break the ice at an interview and make you feel more comfortable. It's also a way for the interviewer to determine if you're a good fit for the job. Before you go on in an interview, do consider what you want to say when you're describing yourself to potential employers. Don't need to focus on a long list of places you've worked or qualifications. Go for a more low-key answer and try to adapt and mention the hobbies that would be useful or interesting for this job position. So for example, interests such as long distance running or yoga that can help represent your healthy, energetic side, pursuits like being an avid reader, solving crossword puzzles, brain teasers will help to showcase your intellectual leaning. Interests like golf, tennis, and gourmet food might have some value if you would be entertaining clients in your new job. Volunteer work will demonstrate the seriousness of your character and commitment to the welfare of your community. Interactive roles like a parent-teacher association volunteer, a museum tour guide, a fundraiser, or chair of a social club will help show that you are comfortable with engaging with other people. And remember, one of the goals of this question is to get to know you a little bit beyond your career and experience. So let's look at an example. And you can see here, I'm an electrician with 10 years experience in residential construction. After earning my electrician's certificate at ABC Tech, I apprenticed with Jones Brothers and then they hired me as a journeyman electrician. 4 years later, I earned my certification as a master's electrician. When I'm not working, I like to spend time exploring with my dogs, take them hiking, visiting historical sites, or even just walking around town. A surprising number of people are drawn to dogs, and I always enjoy talking to whoever I meet. I feel that communication is one of the most important aspects of my professional life as well. When talking with people, being able to guide the conversation in a particular direction is one of the ways I've been successful in different situations at the office. So why does it work? You're sharing that you like dogs, but you're also establishing the fact that you like talking with people and understand the importance of communication, which is a very valued skill in many roles. So let's have another example for this question. Tell me about yourself. I participate in charity walks several times a year. Recently, I did a walk for hunger and I have a few events planned for the summer and the fall as well. I walk for exercise with friends after work and on the weekends. I enjoy fresh air, learning new routes and connecting with new people. I also enjoy the fundraising aspect, which has come in handy in my job. I've learned how to connect with people and to increase their commitment to the cause. Why does this one work? This answer ties in your hobbies back to your skills that are useful on the job and demonstrates that you're a responsible, community-minded person. Also, hobbies that involve fitness activities demonstrate energy and a commitment to health. And here's a last one. This is where you will be talking directly to the interviewer. You've explained that you're looking for a sales executive who is able to effectively manage over a dozen employees. While in my 15 years experience as a sales manager, I've developed strong motivational and team building skills. I was twice awarded Manager of the Year for my innovative strategies for motivating employees to meet and surpass quarterly deadlines. If hired, I will apply my leadership abilities and strategies to achieve profit gains in this position. Why does it work? This response provides details on your experience, successes, and key qualifications while highlighting your own success. So there you go. That's question number 1. And now I will move on to question number 2. Question number 2 in the 20 most common interview questions. What are your goals for the future? The best way to respond to this question is to focus on the position and the company that you are interviewing with. This is why it's so important to do your research beforehand. Focus on the company's culture and business practices so that you can emphasize your ability to solve their problems. Make sure your goals involve staying with this company for more than a short-term basis. Don't discuss your personal goals outside work, such as having a family or traveling around the world. This information is not relevant for the hiring manager. Instead, try to adapt to the situation. We know you should never lie during a job interview, so you should try to stick to the parts of your vision that include the organization. For example, if you're a newly registered nurse and the hospital you're interviewing with doesn't have a lot of openings for nurse practitioners, now is not the time that you're considering for you to say you're considering going back to school in a few years. On the other hand, the hospital might clearly outline a career path for their registered nurses in which they encourage them to go back to school while continuing to work part-time. So let's have a look at some possible answers. My long-term goals involve growing with a company where I can continue to learn, take on additional responsibilities, and contribute as much as possible to the team. I love that your company emphasizes professional development opportunities. I would take full advantage of the educational resources available. Number 2, I see myself as a top performing employee in a well-established organization like this one. I plan on enhancing my skills and continuing my involvement in related professional associations. Number 3, once I gain additional experience, I would like to have the opportunity to move on from a technical position to management. I know this has been a common path for many people in this position, and I think in time, this would be a logical move forward for me. However, for now, I'm excited about focusing on and applying my technical skills in this job. So that was question number 2. What are your goals for the future? Okay, so what we're going to do now is just get rid of this. And we are moving back onto the news here. So I'll just go across. And in fact, what I will do is, we've looked at the news already. I'll jump over, and I wanted to get down to where we were in our list. We're on to dynamic. We're already on to 21. If you were looking at the earlier videos, you will have kept up and realized that we are on to number 21, which is dynamic. These are from Preply. These are business words that are very useful, business phrases and words. And number 21 is dynamic. Okay, so let us have a look. What is dynamic? We launched a dynamic new website in February. I want to zoom out a bit. All right, zoom in because I want to focus just on this. Okay, perfect. We launched a dynamic new website in February. The word dynamic is not exclusive to corporate speak, but it is overused in professional life. It is often heard as a more office-friendly way of saying exciting, interesting, or new. Yeah, perhaps you've heard this word a lot. You need to be careful not to use it too much, but it is a useful word if you use it sparingly, which means if you use it when it really is required, and don't use it too much sparingly. Okay. On to number 22, which is streamline. I'm going to get the camera working again, and I'm going to try and move up here. My camera keeps changing over to the other screen, so I hope I'm back here and that I can activate the camera. 1 second. No, it's not working. What I need to do is I'm going to go back to my old screen, sorry, and I'm going to deactivate the camera there, back into this one, and hopefully I can activate my camera. No, it's not working. What can we do? We'll just have to troubleshoot as we go along and deal with it. So troubleshooting is what I'm doing now. I'm trying to organize my camera, and I'm trying to click and do different things, and this is what we call troubleshooting. But we'll move back anyway. There's nothing I can do at the present. I'm going to go back to talking to you guys about number 22, which is streamline. We need to streamline the archiving process. Far too many files are getting lost. So to streamline something is to simplify the process, thereby getting rid of unnecessary work. Beware if someone talks of streamlining your team, the word is sometimes used to hint that non-essential employees will soon lose their jobs. So let me go through that again. I got lost here. We need to streamline the archiving process. Far too many files are getting lost. Okay, streamline something is to simplify the process, thereby getting rid of unnecessary work. Yeah, unfortunately, yes, you do see streamlining when they talk about reducing team numbers. A lot of that going on in specific industries at the moment. I hope you guys are not being affected. Moving on to number 23. I think we need to align with customers. So align is here. A-L. Let me go back up. We started with dynamic. I'm going to spell these words for you. D-Y-N-A-M-I-C. Dynamic. D-Y-N-A-M-I-C. Next one was streamline that we just finished, which is S-T-R-E-A-M-L-I-N-E. Streamline. S-T-R-E-A-M-L-I-N-E. And now we are on to number 23, which is align. A-L-I-G-N. The alphabet is one of the things that you do learn first. Obviously, you know, as the ABC song and so on, but it is also one of the first things you'll forget in English, and it seems to be like a waste of time to, in fact, go and learn those letters that you have trouble with. It's kind of boring, it's maybe a bit embarrassing, or we're too lazy. But if you have one of those languages, like European languages, such as Italian, Spanish, French, often people, if I were to ask number 23 on the telephone, could you spell align for me? They would say A-L-E-J-N, and already we have 2 letters out of 5 wrong. So the way we get around this is what I'm going to look at in a moment after we do align, is we're going to look at the NATO alphabet. And that way you can ensure that even when you're wrong, you'll be okay. So align. I think we need to align with the customer service department on this issue. Businesses with high staff numbers often talk about alignment between teams. This means ensuring that different departments are working towards the same goals and not accidentally working against each other, or doing similar tasks without sharing what they have learned. If your boss says you need to align on something, that usually means a meeting is coming up soon. Okay, often you have departments who there's a lack of communication, and if they were to align on certain issues, it would be an awful lot better. So like I said, we're going to move across now and look at the NATO phonetic alphabet. And let me see if, well, just before we go, so I'll let you have a quick look while I'm trying to, you can, if you're, I'm going to move up the screen because you're being blocked there. So let me 1 second. There we go. And anyway, we'll go down in a second. I'm going to quickly try and get myself back here while you're having a look at that. So my problem is here is my camera is stuck. So, oh well, we'll just have to get rid of it, I suppose, for today. And let's get on with this. Okay. So like I said, it's really important, especially when you're organizing emails, you're on the telephone. The unfortunate thing is people who only speak one language, which is more than likely native English speakers, have no idea what it is like and to understand your position that you are living through, which is you are from Spain, you're from Italy, from different part of the world, and you have learned English, and they have no idea the effort and the work that you have done to get where you are. They do not understand. So when you get things wrong, They don't understand why you got it wrong. And all of these letters are just, this is, in their mind, this is how the letters are. So often you get it mixed up, and we'll go here through. So we're going to go through, this is the alphabet, which I would find that obviously I live in Spain and I try to adapt to the way they do this alphabet in this country. But sometimes I forget, and I can tell you that even yesterday I was trying to organize a medical appointment. My family name, my surname is quite complicated. It's O'Reilly, and there is no way you can guess as a Spanish speaker how my name would be spelt. But it does have it has vowels in there, and often when I just try and spell it in Spanish, even when I'm correct, they get it wrong. So what I do is I use this alphabet if I forget how they do it in Spain. In Spain, they'll do it with the names of Spanish cities. So A could be, I can't remember, like Asturias, B, Barcelona, C for Cadiz, or just names of cities. Some are more common, but I often forget, and I just go straight into this this alphabet. Not every single letter. For C, I'll say casa or something like this, which means house. But I do recommend using this alphabet. In general, it is very useful. So A for Alpha, B for Bravo, C for Charlie, D for Delta, E for Echo, F for Foxtrot, G for Golf, H for Hotel, I for India, J for Juliet, K for Kilo, L for Lima, M for Mike, N for November, O for Oscar, P for Papa, Q for Quebec, R for Romeo, S for Sierra. So I'm saying that in a Spanish way, but you say in English you'll say Sierra. So it's one of the ones I use. Don't say because I say it wrong in Spanish here. But anyway, S for Sierra, we'll say it in an English way, okay? S for Sierra, T for Tango, uniform, U for uniform, V for Victor, W for Whiskey, X, X-ray, Y, Yankee, and Z, Zulu, or Z, Zulu, okay? You need to be flexible depending. If you're talking to Americans, don't say Z, say Z. And I would also say that in general, saying Z will probably, in general, would be more useful for you, okay? It will be understood. If you're very comfortable with the letter and you want to say Z, absolutely fine, no problem at all. You do what you want to do. So let's go back, for example, and you are giving an email, and the email that you want to give, let me go here, and the was our, okay, so we're over here to back onto this screen again, and the email you want to give is align.com. So how will we do this? Or align@gmail.com, for example. So it would be, you can start by saying A for Alpha, L for Lima, and then after that you can just go straight and start saying the words. A for Alpha, L for Lima, India, Golf, November, @gmail.com. Just remember, when we talk about the internet and addresses on the internet, we're saying dot. Point will be used for numbers, generally just numbers. And when you're talking about the end of this sentence here, so we have, let's just highlight this sentence. I think we need to align with the customer service department on this issue. Full stop. Full stop is British. Now I'll give you the American version. I think we need to align with the customer service department on this issue. Period. So again, you have the US, which is period, and the UK, Commonwealth countries, let's say, which say full stop. Again, it's your choice, and if you want to align yourself with the Americans or if you want to align yourself with the British. Personally, I'm from Europe, so I say full stop. But again, if I were to go to the North America, I would have absolutely no problem in changing to period. You can do it very quickly. Okay, it's not an issue. It's something you can change straight away. If I were to go to South America, Latin America, obviously in North America you have Mexico. So excuse me, 1 second. I'm going to take some coffee. If you need to be flexible, basically just be flexible. Don't be in Team United States or Team UK. Try your best to be flexible, okay? That's my advice. You do what you want to do. Okay, let's move on down. Go the extra mile. Actually, I've probably been covering that with the thing. Let me just check. Yeah, I've been covering. Sorry about that. So go the extra mile. We always go the extra mile for our customers. To go the extra mile is to put more effort into a task in order to gain a result which is even better than necessary. If someone says you went the extra mile on a project, they're praising your work ethic. Okay. Go the extra mile, put more effort into a task in order to gain a result which is even better than necessary. Okay, so we always go the extra mile for our customers. Okay, we always try to put more effort into what we're doing for our customers. Okay, I'm going to spell it out for you. Go the extra mile. Let's pretend here as well. GoTheExtraMile.com. Okay, could you spell that for me, please? G for golf, O for Oscar, Tango, Hotel, Echo, X-ray, Tango, Romeo, Alpha, Mike, India, Lima, Echo.com. Okay, or we have two E's, G for golf, O for Oscar, Tango, Hotel, Echo again. Okay, you can say Echo again. I have two L's in my surname, so I'll say Lima again. Or I'll just say, obviously I can just say Lima. But I have noticed it has created problems, so we say this again, okay? So let's go down then to number 25, expedite. Okay, you can ask Basil to expedite the payment process for this. Sorry. Can you ask Basil to expedite the payment process for this, please? Okay, expedite. E for Echo, X for X-ray, Papa, Echo, Delta, India, Tango, Echo.com. Okay, generally everybody knows what .com is. Everybody knows at is the A with the circle around it for emails, at gmail.com. Everybody generally knows, but if you have any issues, you do the same again. Can you ask Basil to expedite the payment process for this, please? The word expedite is a little old-fashioned for standard conversation, but it is commonly heard in business English. It is a formal way of saying speed up. Okay, it's a nice way to say, could you ask Basil to hurry up with the payment process? Okay, so that's good. What I want to do now is I want to come down here and I want to focus again on the number 3. So let me come down and go in. Okay. Wow. We went through number 2 and we're on to now. We're going to look at number 3 of the 20 most common interview questions. What is your biggest strength? Here, it's your time to brag. When answering questions about your strengths, focus on the abilities you have that are key to success in the job for which you're interviewing. Don't be too humble. It's important to let your hiring manager know about your qualifications. My greatest strength is my ability to learn new processes quickly. When placed in a new environment, I actively observe how people do things so that I can easily pull my weight on the team. I'm also open to testing new ways of doing things in order to optimize our efficiency. I have a solid work ethic. When I'm working on a project, I don't just want to meet deadlines. Rather, I prefer to complete the project well ahead of schedule. Last year, I even earned a bonus for completing my 3 most recent reports 1 week ahead of time. So why does this work? Sharing an example of how your strengths contribute to job success is a good strategy. It shows the hiring manager why you're qualified. Another one, I have extremely strong writing skills. Having worked as a copy editor for 5 years, I have a deep attention to detail when it comes to my writing. I've also written for a variety of publications, so I know how to shape my writing style to fit the task and audience. As a marketing assistant, I will be able to write and edit press releases effectively and update web content with accuracy and ease. How does this work? This response shows how the candidate's flexibility, strengths, and accomplishments can be used in a variety of ways. I'm a skilled sales representative with over 10 years' experience. Another one. I have exceeded my sales goals every quarter by at least 20%. I have earned a bonus each year since I started with my current employer. Sorry, I'm after jumping ahead there. Okay, I know it's actually just a small one. I've exceeded my sales goals every quarter by at least 20%, and I've earned a bonus each year I started with my current employer. So this is useful because you're sharing quantifiable information that validates your strengths. So this 20%, it will help the interviewer understand how much you have to offer were you to be hired. And I will move on now to what is your greatest weakness. Let me just get rid of this. See, I'm getting rid of it. We talked about this in one of the last ones, to get rid of something. Number 4 in the top 20 most common interview questions is, what is your greatest weakness? Don't worry, there are many ways to talk about weaknesses. We can mention soft weaknesses that are not too important for the job. Numbers have not always been my strong suit. Fortunately, as a copywriter, I can focus most of my time on the creative process of writing. However, in recent years, I have begun to familiarize myself with digital analytical tools used in various websites and apps I write for, and I found that when you add context, numbers can actually be quite enlightening. So how does this work? This response features a weakness that isn't critical for success at this job. It also shows how the candidate has improved and upgraded her skills. We can turn a negative aspect into a positive one by sharing an example of how something you considered a weakness actually helped you on the job. For example, here's how to turn a negative thing into a positive one. I'm an introvert, which I used to regard as being a weakness because I was always shy about reaching out to people. However, part of being an introvert is that I'm a great listener, and I find that this has really helped me as a help desk technician. I'm able to focus on our customers' issues, ask the right questions to elicit information, and resolve their tech issues. So, again, this is when you're an introvert, and we move on down to another one. I have a very strong attention to detail. Sometimes this can turn into a tendency to perfectionism. In the past, I have found this leading me to triple check every time on a spreadsheet, closely proofread emails to ensure I communicated what I was trying to get across in a clear, concise way, or fiddle with the layout of a presentation to ensure that it was perfect. I've since learned to successfully budget my time and gauge which tasks require and actually benefit from this level of precision. Why it works? Here you are showing the interviewer that you have the time management skills to focus on a detail-oriented project. And we can also mention additional skills you have. You now have because you've worked on those that needed change. One area I've improved on in the past is my salesmanship skills. As a project manager who works with internal teams and doesn't interface with clients or sales prospects, I don't do much, if any, selling in my role. However, since I do communicate quite frequently with the sales team, I felt it might benefit me to have a greater understanding of their strategies and tactics. I took a sales skill course online. It improved how I worked with sales teams, and now when I join sales meetings, I have a much better idea of what's going on, and I feel more effective in communicating with the sales team. This course also helped me build upon my skills I used to sell my vision for the product internally. And how does this work? This response works well because it clearly shows how you have improved upon the skills needed to do the job effectively. So that was question number 4. What is your greatest weakness? And finally, we'll just move on to the last one for today, which is question number 5. What are your salary requirements? Now, so let's go through it. Question number 5 of the 20 top interview questions. What are your salary requirements? We know that questions about salary can be tricky, especially if you don't know what the job pays. One approach to answering this question is to say you're flexible based upon the entire compensation package, including benefits. So I average around 39k annually, and I know from online salary calculations that the approximate salary here for professionals with my experience ranges from 38k to 40k. But I'm open to negotiation depending upon your benefits package. Now, here are some salary negotiation tips. 1. Wait for the appropriate time. Once you know what you should be earning, how do you go about getting it? Start by being patient. When interviewing for a new position, do your best not to bring up compensation until the employer makes an offer. Number 2, resist throwing out the first number. If you're asked what your salary requirements are, say that you're open based upon the position and the overall compensation package. Or tell the employer that you'd like to know more about the responsibilities and the challenges prior to discussing salary. Number 3, base your salary request on data. If you're forced to give a number, provide a salary range based upon the research that you've done up front. Use this research to inform your negotiating technique. Talk about what's appropriate for the role based on your experience and what you have to offer. Resist the temptation to talk about your personal financial needs. Number 4, take your time. Once you've received an offer, you don't need to accept it or reject it right away. A simple, I need to think it over, can get you an increase in the original offer. Number 5, consider saying no. If you're ambivalent about the position, a no can bring you a better offer. Just be careful not to decline a job you really want. There's always a risk that your employer may accept your answer and move on then to the next candidate. And number 6, consider whether there are employee benefits and perks that might be negotiable, even if the salary isn't. For example, the employer might be willing to offer you telecommuting privileges once a week or working from home, or an alternative schedule. Depending on your preferences and situation, arrangements like this might be worth accepting a slightly slower paycheck. So that was question number 5 of the top 20 most common interview questions. Later, we will look at the next, as I said, we'll go through all the 20 questions. That's that for today. And we're moving back over to our Career International, which is going to be a bit difficult. So I'm going to just get it open here. Career International, because opening it there is just going to be too tricky. And I'm going to change that there because I want mine in English. And let's get it changed. Okay. So we looked at the news earlier. I am going to have to change this back to the other screen because I organized it. Okay, so I'm going to deactivate. And can I activate my camera? Am I going to be back? That's crazy. Okay, I'm back. I can't believe it. For no reason whatsoever, the the camera went away and then it came back. So these are troubleshoot. I'm just technical problems. And I have to say, I am a technophobe. Okay, so doing this for me it's a real learning experience. And there's no talk of me staying ahead of the curve until I get this organized. But I do kind of enjoy doing it. Are you guys? What's your situation? Are you guys? A lot of you guys are already in the tech area, but maybe when it comes to just, we say fiddling around. Okay, I'm going to spell it for you. Okay, fiddling. FIDDLING. So to fiddle around with something is to kind of mess around with something. So if you can imagine here, I've got cables all over the place, and if I have a technical problem, I need to disconnect this one and then connect and then do that. And what I'm doing is I'm fiddling around, but I'm also troubleshooting, which is trying to find where the problem is. I am a technophobe, but I am interested in getting better in that area. So as they say, bear with me. Bear with me means give me a chance, or often you'll be on the phone, for example, and you say, hello, this is Dream Better English in association with LK Formation. How can I help you? Yes, I was looking to talk to the project manager working on that project. Okay, bear with me one moment, please. I'll try to put you through. So when we say bear with me, just like the animal, I think, the spelling is BEAR, Bravo, Echo, Alpha, Romeo. Bear with me. Nothing got to do with the animal, but just the same pronunciation and the same spelling, as is so common in English. Remember, English is about, I'm sure your language is similar, but it's about context, okay? When you look at any word in the dictionary, you're going to see many, many different meanings because of context. So be flexible with English. It's a very liquid language. It's very flexible. Don't get frustrated. There is no point. Okay, so let's go back to, for the last 10 minutes or so. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention was that yesterday, do you remember, if you were tuned in yesterday, we were talking about, at one point, let me see if I can find the article, because we have an update on this article. I think it was Culture. Was it Culture? It was about body positivity. And so anyway, while I'm looking for this, we were talking about body positivity, and also in the Middle East, that there is a problem with obesity with women. A certain percentage of women have, due to not exercising, or for whatever reason, staying indoors, not being employed, are having problems with their weight. So one of the, it was from The Economist, and I'm not going to find this, am I? Because whenever you want to find something, it's just not going to happen. But anyway, the very famous Egyptian singer, I can't remember her name, was on the cover of the article from The Economist. And then we talked about this yesterday, and then I learned that she is suing, which is bringing them to court for calling her fat, I think. I read in The Guardian, yes, they're bringing her to... She is bringing them to court to try and get some money. And I think the idea is, she was, and like I mentioned, she was offended that they called her fat, or maybe... No, this is fake news. It's fake news, because I think the real reason is they used her photo without permission. But probably offended at the same time. If I can find it, it would be fantastic, just to give you guys some context. But anyway, we're not going to find it. Let's go into some economic news, and I want to make sure that you guys can see what I can see. Fantastic, you can. It's a learning experience for me. This is my first week of streaming, so the first couple of days, absolutely fantastic, and then I've got some tech issues, but we're all learning. Okay. Yes. 7 billion. Elon Musk, 7 billion. Took advantage of the recent rebound in the shares of the price of Tesla, the electric car manufacturer. And what is he doing? Okay, the operation which brought him nearly $7 billion. Elon Musk took advantage of the recent rebound. Let's just highlight what we're reading here. Here we are. Elon Musk took advantage of the recent rebound in the share price of Tesla. Rebound is when it comes back, probably in a positive way. The electric car manufacturer, of which he is a chief executive and the main shareholder, to sell nearly 7.9 million shares between the 5th and the 9th of August, writes the Financial Times. Citing a document filed with the US stock market authorities. The operation, which brought him nearly $7 billion, which is brackets 6.84 billion euros, brackets. So what you can see is when I say numbers, I'm saying point. Was made at an average price of $869 per share. In May, the price of Tesla had fallen to $620, recalls the British Daily. So it has, Tesla always going up and down for shares. Anything Elon Musk does is just, generally whatever he touches turns to gold. But in the shares, he's a volatile, sometimes he says silly things on the internet, and then the share prices drop, but when he invests and so on, so it's always up and down. It was a few weeks. It was a few. I'm gonna zoom so you can read a bit better. It was a few weeks after the whimsical billionaire announced his intention to buy Twitter for $44 billion. What do you guys think? Do you think he said that he wanted to buy Twitter because he was just trying to stay in the newspapers? He always seems to want to be talked about. $44 billion. To prepare for the acquisition of the social network, he then sold 8.5 billion of Tesla shares, and investors feared that he would be forced to withdraw further. In July, when Elon Musk finally unilaterally decided to give up on Twitter, to give up is to stop, Tesla's stock price rebounded. Okay, so they were afraid that he would leave Tesla, so the share price fell, and then when he said he wasn't buying Twitter, the share prices rebounded, that they went back up. Unfortunately for him, Twitter does not hear it that way. The group asked a Delaware court to compel the businessman to buy it out. The trial is to be held in October. Yeah, because there's a lot of people who have Twitter shares, and they want their payday. They want this man to buy the company. Their stocks are going to go up. They're going to sell. They're going to get a lot of money, and they're going to retire. Yeah. This is why Elon Musk is taking his precautions today. On his Twitter account, he explains that he wants to avoid an emergency sale of Tesla shares. In the fortunately unlikely scenario where he would be forced to take control of Twitter and where some of his financial partners would not follow him. So basically, one of the things about Elon Musk buying Twitter was his fear that a lot of the people, in fact, on Twitter are not real people. They are bots. And a lot of these bots are from bot farms, robots in Eastern European countries, such as Montenegro or Russia, and they're not real people. So what he's saying was he wanted to know what was the real number of real Twitter users as opposed to bots. That's Elon Musk. Anyway, he's always in the news. Lebanon's in crisis. Let's just read the headline. Downgrading. In Lebanon, growing homelessness amid unending crisis. So homelessness is where people have no homes. Amid means during, in the time of, an unending crisis. The ongoing socio-economic collapse in Lebanon has left entire sections of the population on the edge or on the brink. BRINK, Bravo, Romeo, India, November, Kilo, and further weaken the country's underprivileged segments. Segments is parts. In the absence of a system of social protection and access to housing, some find themselves on the streets, says the site Rasif 22. This is an interesting newspaper or online newspaper that you can check out, and we can go directly to the site. And it also is, it's in Arabic, but it's also, they have, as you can see, they also have it in English. So if you like to see sometimes what's going on in the Arab world, just remember that you can, or in the Middle East, or a lot of these countries do have newspapers in English. I will show you them here, and then from there you can try to remember the name. So this is Give a Shout Out. That's what Rasif 22 looks like in Arabic. We go back and we'll just read the headline. So Rasif 22, change it back to English. So, right, okay, we'll just read the first two paragraphs. 4 years ago, Osama Al-Ali, a 36-year-old father, was a furniture painter. Today, after losing everything he owned due to the economic crisis that hit Lebanon, he lives under a bridge. He lives under the Kola Bridge at the southern entrance to Beirut, where other homeless have found refuge. His 3 daughters live in his wife's family home, thank God. He tells the Pan-Arab site Rasif 22 how he went from artisan to homeless almost overnight. The endless power cuts kept interrupting my work, so when I found myself without any income, I decided to sell my house and move to Beirut to look for a job, he explains. But the salaries that were offered do not exceed 3 million Lebanese pounds, which is the equivalent to about $100 or $100, an amount that barely covers the cost of his journey he has to make every day between his home and his place of work. So Lebanon is really in a crisis, and it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Is it going to become a failed state? Very unfortunate. Let's see how that continues. But we'll move on over then. We saw this in Cuba. There was a fire that killed. We went over that. Let's have a look at justice. Unsealed exhibits from the Depp Heard trial. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard could overturn actor's defense. Let's see what's happening here. In early August, following the mobilization of Johnny Depp's fans, documents detailing the respective strategies of the legal teams of the actor and his ex-girlfriend, Amber Heard, were released to the public. The objective was to definitively clear Johnny Depp, but the file attests rather to his misogyny, explains The Guardian. Misogyny is where he's maybe sees himself above women or doesn't treat women well. So he's a misogynist. Let's quickly look at the first two. We've read the headline and we'll look at the first two paragraphs. Judgment in the Depp Heard trial was delivered on June 1st. Often people I hear now June 1. So let's see what's going to happen with this, because we say ordinal, but I hear on podcasts and so on June 1. So I'm going to see, watch this space, see how this continues. So June 1 or June 1st. But the case does not appear to be over yet. In the opinion piece in the British newspaper The Guardian, columnist Arwa Madawi looks at some 6,000 pages of court documents recently released to the public after an initiative by the actor's fans. According to the title, these exhibits used during the trial show that Johnny Depp's defense instrumentalized misogyny. Amber Heard had written a column in the Washington Post in 2018 in which she claimed to have suffered sexual violence without naming her ex-husband Johnny Depp. The latter, so when we have two names, if they mention, so we say, look, Amber Heard, we have two names here, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Let's just highlight here. Amber Heard is mentioned first, and then after that we have Johnny Depp. When we talk about the former, it means the first one. So the former is Amber Heard, and the latter is Johnny Depp. She's the first one we talked about, and he's the second one we mentioned. So here in the next sentence it says, the latter then sued her for defamation, to which she responded with a counter-complaint for defamation. These two... it was a trial that gripped everybody. It was very interesting for a lot of people. It was must-watch TV for a lot of people. But one thing is, I would not personally like to be around those two people. I think they're two toxic people, and it's unfortunate that we had to witness their trial. But I was a bit surprised at the support for Johnny Depp. He's a good guy and she's a bad person. Personally, I don't know. I think you should wait, and the court should give the result. But people had already decided she was a bad person and he's a bad person. I think they both probably have their problems, and two toxic people. But that's my opinion. Okay, so again, sorry about that, guys. My in the stream today, I should be checking more often on the screen. It keeps changing over to one of the screens, so I'm very sorry about that. But thanks for joining me. Thanks for bearing with me today. And hopefully tomorrow I will have this organized and working better for you. But have a great day. I hope this has been helpful. Remember, those 5 interview questions, you can go back and you can look. And later, hopefully, I will do mini ones that I can upload here onto YouTube and onto LinkedIn. Have a great day, and I shall catch up with you tomorrow. All the best.